welcome back, everybody, to
We're back,
episode
baby.
5, part 2. Okay, Crystal,
It's time to
it's
let more
time.
chaos reign.
It is time. Didn't we all? I feel like we already talked about this, but I guess we didn't. I guess we did not talk about this. So
No, we didn't.
if
We just kept hinting like we were for several episodes. Now we're doing the thing.
now we're doing it. Okay. So if you don't know, well, I think everybody knows J.K. Rowling, right? If you don't
Yeah,
know who she is, you've been under a rock for a while, which is okay. Glad you're out of
it's
the
fine.
rock. Thank you for coming to listen to our podcast. So, Miss J.K. Rowling is the author of Harry Potter. And this is a person, and I'm going to try to be as nice as possible, who is very heavily biased against trans people. And I will say right now, I am heavily biased in their favor because my daughter is trans. My oldest daughter is trans. So, I am very heavily biased in their favor. She is the opposite of that. She is heavily biased in disfavor to them. So, just to be clear, not only do I disagree with every single word she has ever said about them, I disagree pretty much with her existence right now because I am not a happy camper when it comes to her bullshit. So,
Well, right now, I just want her to be quiet and leave people alone because this is just wrong.
it is beyond just wrong. It is just like okay. So today we're talking about J.K. Rowling and her disgusting behavior towards trans people, and also some comments I have to say about how I feel she's treated the whole queer community. And but this starts out with actually the UK Supreme Court because let's be real. Right now in this day and age, we have gays, we have lesbians, we have trans, we have binary, non-binary, we have there's just there's a
We
lot of
got a full
spectrums
rainbow, and nowadays we're
for
acknowledging
rainbow.
that they exist instead of
Yeah.
making them hide in the closet for their lives.
And by the way, any name that I forget about the people in this group, that is entirely on me. Just because I'm tired, I apologize. There's a lot of people who are figuring themselves out, who are trying to live their lives and just be the best people they can be. And they also want some rights. They want to be
Yeah.
looked at as human. They want to be recognized for what they are. And so let's look at the trans community. So the trans community, trans men and trans women, are people who are born under one gender who realize as they grow that they are not that gender, that they are the opposite. So, and sometimes maybe they don't even feel either gender, or maybe it's both. And they kind of go, there's a lot of them that go through phases. I only know what my daughter has somewhat gone through because we're very open in our family. So me and her have talked about it extensively. But these are people who just literally they're born. So, for example, my oldest was born as a boy, but has always known something is up within her and realized in the last few years that she felt like a woman. She didn't feel like a boy. She's never felt like a boy. And I will say as a parent, and again, you're going to get a lot of my personal perspectives in this. So anybody who doesn't want to hear it, you don't need to listen.
Yeah, you
But
don't need to be here.
yes. So as a parent, having been her parent her whole entire life, I have seen where she has been trying to figure out who she is. And even from birth, I will state this right now, even from birth, I knew there was something about her. I knew that something was going to come up. I didn't know when, I didn't know how. I knew it would come up. I thought maybe, she might come out as gay. It might be a different, like, I wasn't sure. I didn't assume. I was just like, I know something's there. I'll let her tell me. And when she finally decided about a year or two ago to come out to me, and it wasn't even really a come out thing because in my, like, again, I have a very open relationship with my kids. I have always encouraged them to be very honest and open. And I've always said, there are no stupid questions. Ask me anything, tell me anything. I'm always going to be in your corner, right? Right. So
Right.
we had a discussion about the fact that she felt like she was a woman inside a boy's body. She was pretty sure she felt this way, but my kid is a thinker and she's a high functioning autistic. So she had to think about this. She was not going to just claim this. Okay. So when I talk about the fact that these individuals go through a struggle, I know this from a personal standpoint because my oldest took a year and a half to kind of think about it before she even said anything. And by the way, she even had a joke at the time about the fact that, like, she was like, I was never afraid to come out to you. She was like, you're just way too accepting. So I never had an issue. She was like, I knew you would accept me. That was never a problem. Like, but she wanted to think about it. She wanted to kind of feel and realize, like, come to how did she feel? who was she? Because and I've known several trans people. I have a friend who has a trans kid.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these
I have
people,
a
it
couple
takes
friends
them
who are
years.
trans.
Yeah, I have a trans male friend who was born female, is trans male, and it took them a long time too to
And
realize who they were.
I want to say this real quick. You have to think about it. It takes them a long time to accept and realize that they are transgender. And I'm saying this because of how some people are. This
Yeah.
isn't something like, oh, I want to go automatically 1, 2, 3, get gender reassignment surgery.
Yeah.
No, this
Yes.
is something they sincerely feel. Things like this are expensive, and this is life altering.
They are.
They
And
have to
people don't
think
rea-
about if they really want to do this and see how they feel.
Yeah.
This isn't something they're doing for shits and giggles, damn it.
Yeah, and the thing is like, thankfully we live in a state where my kid can get that help. But there are a lot of states in the US where you cannot get that help, and Republicans are trying to wipe that shit off the board, right?
That's true.
So
I
it's
don't
like,
believe you can
this
get it
is
in my state. I'm in a red zone.
this is not easy. And let me just say, a lot of these people get hate and commentary and everything else on a day-to-day basis. So you think they're out there trying to just push this agenda, and they're not. They are trying to live their lives. They are trying to figure out who they are. And so this is why I get very fucking personally offended when I hear this bullshit. But okay, let me bring it back to the topic.
Yeah, but if you listen to these people, they act like the trans community is over half the population and they're on some march to force everybody to be like them, which that's not nice.
They're
people,
not.
and you shouldn't be spreading things like that.
They're a very small minority in the LGBTQIA community that is trying to understand who they are. And really all of us, I think at some point, have tried to figure out who the fuck we are.
Yeah.
So good luck to them trying to figure, I mean, I don't even think I figured myself out. So good luck to them for trying to figure themselves out, right?
Yeah.
But so the UK, what happened was the UK Supreme Court recently ruled in the last month or so that the legal definition of woman under the Equality Act of 2010, which is based on biological sex assigned at birth, excluded transgender women. And this means that trans women, even those with gender recognition certificates, which is a thing they have certificate shit in the UK, are not considered women for the purposes of the act. The ruling had significant implications for single-sex spaces, services, protections, and impact, and is probably going to impact areas like restrooms, sports, and domestic violence shelters. And this is a huge thing because trans people, and especially trans women, are a lot of times they get a lot of violence directed at them for being different.
True.
Because we are in a society that does, let's be real, people, let's break our society down. We do not appreciate different. We don't
really
like
don't,
it.
because this is
We
a
are
story
suspicious.
from, I'm going to mention this story from several years ago when, it was early on when we were hearing more and more about transgender in the media.
Yeah.
And my mother had heard about this awful story where these trans women were on a bus and stuff, and they were attacked by a bunch of men, and one of them ripped the woman's dress off, and I was like, oh my goodness, they targeted these people who weren't trying to get in their way, weren't harassing them and everything, and started a fight with them just because they are different. And it's rather sad that as human beings we have such a hatred towards people who are different.
Yeah, and the fact that the UK Supreme Court did this is just disgusting for me. I especially as a woman who was raised by an activist to support all women, and just the fact that they would target trans women specifically is just disgusting to me. That they're like, oh well, let's disregard them. Let's pretend that they aren't. What are you talking about?
Just mostly doing this probably to distract from other things. They get people riled up about people who are transgender, and then whatever secretive agenda they don't want people paying attention to, they can sneak it in because they got people all worked up over this.
Yep. And so here's the thing, is that J.K. Rowling, who is a known proponent of being against trans people, and according to her, and by the way, if you just go to her Twitter page, it's basically a transphobia heaven. If you are transphobic and you hate people, J.K. Rowling is there for you. She's got you. This person, because I'm not even going to call her a woman because I am so upset with her bullshit. This person who, and let's talk about, let's bring up, how does this, in regards to book talk topic, obviously J.K. Rowling is very well known in our community. She wrote Harry Potter series, movies, books. There's been so much. There's also some scandal stuff that we won't get into here because we're really just focused on this issue.
Everything, because that book was praised as what reawakened reading when I was a kid back in the 90s.
Yeah, and I mean, at one point in the U.S., if I remember correctly, they were talking about banning Harry Potter books because
they said it was
of
a
the
sign
witchcraft.
Of the devil, and they had book burnings, which probably made her extra money and got her extra attention.
I kind of wish I had supported them. Now I'm feeling very upset. Anyways,
it would be nice if the extremists wanted to burn our books. You know how much money we would make?
Right? Buy our books and then burn them. Oh man, let's not. So anyways, J.K. Rowling is very notorious for being transphobic. And so she made a statement. She basically posted a picture of herself with a wine glass and a sunset and a cigar, acting like she had fucking done something and won something. Okay.
Wow.
So this person, and read into that sentence, piece of shit, because that's really what I'm saying, but I'm saying person because I want to be nice. And I don't necessarily want you to censor us. So here is what some of the stuff. I'm not going to read her whole bullshit statement, but this is some of the bullshit that she put out. So here's what happened is that she was cheering this event because supposedly in her eyes, trans women are just trying to trample all over women's rights, which is bullshit. But anyways, and all this basically men pretending to be women. How dare they? Oh my God. And so all this crap happens. And so what happened was Eddie Redmayne, who I fucking love Eddie Redmayne, the star of her Fantastic Beasts show. Okay. And last week, or I think this is like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, Eddie Redmayne, Papa Isidore, who is supposed to be the new Snape in the new Harry Potter series on HBO, and Katie Leung signed a pro-trans open letter talking about how they were supporting, that they were very upset and they were pledging to stand in solidarity with the transgender community despite J.K. Rowling. And especially, I love Eddie Redmayne. And they basically talked about that. The letter basically said, we, the undersigned film and television professionals, stand in solidarity with trans, non-binary, and intersex communities who have been impacted. And they went on from there. But basically, they were supporting this. And it wasn't like they led a riot. It wasn't like they had a protest. They just wrote an open letter to say, you know what, especially Eddie Redmayne, because he's in Fantastic Beasts. And I mean, Fantastic Beasts, another of J.K. Rowling's ideas, is in her series, in her Harry Potter series, and especially in the Fantastic Beasts series. She has a lot of the themes of the queer community. And I have a few things I want to say about some of that shit. But so anyways, J.K. Rowling was very unhappy with this. She was very upset. So they wrote, it was a very short letter, by the way. It was not that long. It was like they signed it. It was a very short letter. So she did a, let me count this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 paragraphs in response to this 1-page letter. And so basically it was, in the light of recent open letters from academia and the arts criticizing the UK Supreme Court ruling on sex-based rights, it's possibly worth remembering that nobody sane believes or has ever believed that humans can change sex or that binary sex isn't a material fact. Actually, that's incorrect. If you don't know what intersex is, which by the way is high Texas Republicans, you evidently didn't know what the fuck it was. So intersex, for example, and again, I say high Texas Republicans because y'all didn't even know this was a thing. Intersex refers to a condition where a person is born with sex characteristics that do not fit the typical binary definition of male or female. And this can include genitalia, reproductive organs, chromosomes, hormones, and it's a natural variation, by the way, natural variation that occurs in about 1 to 2% of the population. And let's not even talk about hermaphrodites, which were back in Greek society how fucking long ago. So obviously, first point, already wrong. You know, nobody ever saying, I'm sorry, but I guess J.K. Rowling and the Texas Republicans would get along real good.
Yeah, apparently she knows more about biology than a biologist.
Right. And so she's claiming that these are just elitist badges of virtue. And then it's just, this is the crap. This is the speaking points they have that really fucking pissed me off, not just as a parent of a trans person, but also as just a supporter of the community. Is she talks about how I often wonder whether whether the signatories of such letters have to quiet their consciences before publicly boosting a movement intent on removing women's and girls' rights, which bullies of gay people who admit openly they don't want opposite sex partners, and basically blah, 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 blah.
Really, I'm going to be honest, her doing this, if anything, is hurting women's rights more because they go
Exactly.
after the trans women's rights, and you expect everyday women's rights to stay once you start doing that.
Right. And here's the thing is like this, the fact that these people and the audacity, again, I was born to somebody who was a woman's activist in the 60s where they were fighting to get abortion and everything else. Like, this is not, I hate it when people take what women have been fighting for hundreds of years and then try to use it as their selling point for, well, this is why we can't accept. Why? Oh, because somebody who is having an actual conflict of how they feel in their actual motherfucking body, that they're conflicted and they're like, I don't feel like myself, and they feel like how is that a bad thing? So wait, only we only want real women, and so we don't want these fake. Oh, excuse me, like,
well, Amanda, how is this anybody's business? Like, this is his own person's thing. This is their private thing. They do not feel that they are the gender they were born as, and that's something they're going through. Now, did they say that I have to be involved? No. Mia, did they say you have to be involved? No. Did they say Sally down the street had to be involved? No. They didn't say anybody else had to be involved. This is their own personal business that when they go through what they need to do or whatever they need to do, might I add, none of us involved. That's all on them. We are unaffected. So as I've been saying throughout this, you need to, if you have a problem with this, you need to start really looking at yourself, because why are you in this person's business? This person isn't going over to your kids demanding that they do that. This is their business. They're minding their own business, and you need to mind yours if you have a problem with this.
And then what's interesting to me, because part of and she actually mentions this bullshit about the unregulated medical experiment on minors. And I mean, that's the nicest thing to say to that, Crystal. Because, by the way, I don't even know where the fuck they get this belief from. And this comes from their belief that, like, teachers are somehow trying to force kids to become trans, which is some amount of bullshit I cannot even.
Fake science. You just randomly say things, and it has to be true. So if we randomly say things loud enough, maybe it'll become a reality.
Yeah. And so they're like, and so in this bullshit letter, she's like, women are fighting back and winning victories. Sporting bodies have miraculously woken from their slumber and remembered that males tend to be larger and stronger and faster than females. But and why? Why is the medical establishment are questioning cutting off healthy breasts off teenage girls? Excuse me? Well, nobody is fucking doing that.
Nobody's doing transgender surgery to a teenager. That is an adult decision when you are at age to make that decision. If that's something that affects you.
Well, not even that, because, by the way, let me correct this. For a lot of people who go through the trans thing, which, by the way, if it's even legal in your state here in the U.S., you have to go through counseling. You have to go through a process. They don't even just give you the hormones. You have to go. My kid already had to do for like the last half a year. She's had to go to counseling and learn and go through all this shit to verify that she is how she feels. And so, by the way, the cutting off really, y'all are some drama queens, because they're
cutting off of teenagers. Teenagers,
oh my God,
are not going through trans surgery. Now, if you have a transgender teenager, they may dress as the sex they feel, but that is a discussion between them and their parents, not you.
I believe the only thing I've ever heard of, and I want to say I haven't heard of for under 18, but it might be 17 or 16. I don't think so, though, honestly, is they will give you it once you complete all the other stuff. You will get hormone to help you, because there's a couple different therapies. There's hormone therapy. There is actual surgery, but that, by the way, takes months to get into, and that is a whole different process. But usually it's hormones. So the one my kid is on is the hormones one, where basically you take hormones to boost your estrogen up, and that's it. There is no cutting off of body parts. Nobody's flinging boobs everywhere. Nobody's pasting boobs on. Like, this shit's not happening, okay?
Marriage is only the
like, it's just wild. It's what, anyway. So J.K. Rowling, she says a lot of other crap. Her transphobic ass was all over the place, and there's a lot of like, basically, I want to call it white guy talking points in there, old white guy talking
sounds
points.
like a white guy talking point, to be honest with you. I've been hearing them for years, and it sounds like that. This minor reshaping.
But she's so mad. She's so mad that the actors in her series are daring to come out and have sympathy and empathy, because evidently let's be real. The people who are haters have never had empathy for the LGBTQIA community, but like the actual hatred and amount of violence they want to put on them is huge. And her just endorsing this shit and signing it up, like, it just I see red. I see red with her bullshit. And then I'm gonna
be honest, a lot of people, and I'll be honest, a lot of people can get hurt by what she's saying. Things like rhetoric, like she says, has led to violence of innocent people. People can get hurt, and people can be killed by people just randomly going off their mouth like she's been doing.
Yeah. And here's why we're bringing her up on a book episode today. Not just because she's a popular author, which hopefully that changes, because I was saying this in a TikTok, I love this series. I used to read it all the time. I think there's great. I was saying this in my TikTok. I was like, can we sue her for divorce of her characters? Like, can we steal her characters from her, because she doesn't deserve them? Because
that's true, but she also can't write anything outside of her Harry Potter characters. So
I know she can. But here's the thing: this is why we're bringing this up today, because something that I think gets undernoted a lot when we are talking about this person and the book she wrote is that the Fantastic Beasts series. Let's talk about the Fantastic Beasts series. And as I said, I'm a huge fan of Eddie Redmayne. I fucking love him.
Yeah, and Fantastic Beasts series is more in the movie. She wrote a kind of pamphlet-like thing, and the movie theaters took it off.
Exactly. So the thing is that she literally, she used and I say this, and I'm going to fucking stand all full feet on it on this hill and fucking come at me about it, because this woman used the LGBTQIA community to fund the fucking Fantastic Beasts series in movie theaters. Let's be real, because here's the thing. She hinted for a long time, because evidently she's okay with gay guys. Y'all be glad she's okay with gay guys. Nobody else, gay guys, yes. She hinted for a long time that Dumbledore was gay. Kind of hinted at this, kind of did this, kind of did this. And then when the Fantastic Beasts series came out, suddenly she was the fuck everywhere about coming out about, oh, well, it's this gay, there's this gay story in there about Dumbledore and was it Grindelwald and all this kind of history
before Voldemort.
And I have a firm belief that she used the LGBTQI community because, by the way, those weren't books. She never wrote a Fantastic Beasts series. That was based on a reference from the Harry Potter series that she then decided to do that the studio contacted her. She wrote a bunch of shit down for them. They wrote it up, but she told them different things, right? She used the LGBTQIA community to fund those movies to get rich off them. She used them. She used them. And now
time I've heard about someone doing stuff like that.
Right. And here's the thing. What really upsets me about all this is that she used this community when it was good for her. When it was good for her, she was all the fuck about the queer community, about the LGBTQI community. She was all there for them. She was endorsing shit. She didn't talk about, she still hated trans people, by the way, but she wasn't as open about it because, she had to get some movies out there. And supposedly she still has, 2 movies left? I will not fucking watch them.
I don't really watch her movie stuff anymore, so I've been losing track. And everybody just talks about the series now.
I'm not either. But there's this whole thing where she used them to make money, especially off the first 2 Fantastic Beasts. And then now that all the trans stuff is now really popping off because of all the hatred everywhere, yay, hatred. Mm-hmm. Now she wants to fucking sit here and be like, and then that's why she throws in this fucking tagline about it bullying gay people, because here's the thing. She made a shitload of money off the gay community, so she's trying to now use her bullshit to separate, trans people aren't a part of that yes, they are. That is their
Yeah,
community.
technically they would be. I mean, never mind. She's making my head hurt with common sense.
She is. And so she's saying, because she knows she made a lot of money. So she's trying to keep her paychecks intact and be like, oh, no, I'm still with the gay people. I still like them. But these trans people, they got to go. No. They, especially those trans women.
Yeah, that's how she asked. Because isn't she, I'm trying to remember, this from a few years ago. Wasn't she support those camps that are supposed to make your child not want to be trans anymore? And all they do
I
is
heard about that.
take a perfectly healthy human and destroy who they are as a person to fit in with gender codes and stuff like that. Something else I really hate, but I'm going to get into that in an entirely different video because I have a problem with stuff like that.
Yeah, I do too. And it blows my mind that, like, it blows my mind about this bullshit of, how she is just trying. She's trying to keep her paycheck intact.
All she cares about is money, really.
She does. And it drives me crazy because I'm just like, but for real, could you not? Could you not? It's just, it blows my mind.
I get it. It's frustrating. It's like you can't even come up with the proper words because it's like, why are you even doing this? Don't you realize you're hurting people who have done nothing to you? And I'm just asking, are you just doing this because you're a woman with too much money in your hands and too much time now that you don't have to work, that you're just harassing somebody? What's up with this?
And so here's the thing, is that there's actually a new article about the HBO business relationship with her. Mm-hmm. And because people are now going after HBO and saying, why are you working with her? And HBO, evidently, because they think, oh, well, she's our moneymaker, we can't let her go. So they're talking about, oh, well, we know her personal political views. She's entitled to them. Harry Potter is not secretly being infused with anything. And if you want her to debate her, you can go on Twitter.
Oh, heaven help me. But I wouldn't really trust HBO to do something. If they can destroy Game of Thrones, you can know they'll do anything.
That's the true fucking story, right? It's wild to me that, like, she created, and this is the other thing, by the way, she created the story of these characters who didn't fit in and had problems and were kind of on their own trying to figure things out, and has no empathy for the trans community, gives no fuck. And it's like, you don't even deserve these characters you wrote about. Like, because here's the thing, I know a lot of authors that when they write books, they get emotionally invested in it. We all, like, we put a piece of ourselves in these books. We put our sweat, blood, and tears. And you're telling me you wrote about these characters. You wrote about Dumbledore and Grindelwald. You wrote about these people, and then you have no fucks to give. You have no empathy to give to people who are just trying to figure out who they are and how to move in this world. Like, I don't understand. And here's the thing, by the way, also, she didn't have to comment on this shit. She didn't have to post a picture. She could have just, I mean, okay, you hate them. You've expressed it a million times. She didn't have to say shit, but she chose to because she wanted to celebrate that the UK was going to undermine trans women all over. And it's just, it just blows my mind.
How she likes to paint herself as a progressive, and yet she does this.
It's just because her thing is, and she likes to talk about this, the sporting events, because trans women have an unfair advantage and some, like, that's all just bullshit. It's all, okay, yes, there might be some things here and there, but it's not like those are not taken into thought when this shit happens.
We don't just lump people into sports. We think about this stuff. There isn't this massive takeover of trans women in women's sports.
It's ridiculous. I know. It's just a bunch of, like, she takes all the lines, she parrots them out, and then pretends that she has some high fucking moral authority because, oh, well, they're trying to go after women's rights. How are trans women who are trying to figure themselves out coming after your rights as a woman?
If anything, to be honest, I've heard more trans women argue harder for, like, I'm just going to use this terminology because I'm trying to separate two, but everybody who's, born female, I've seen more trans women come out harder to stand up for us than a lot of these other things. So don't tell me trans women are coming for women's rights.
Yep.
As much as I've seen trans women stand up talking about everyday women getting sexually harassed and everything
Yep.
else, how we're discriminated just for having Mother Nature pop in once a month and everything, and bring that up and
Yep.
try to stand up. Don't tell
Yep.
me trans women are trying to take away women's rights. If anything,
No.
most trans women are trying to expand women's rights. They're not
Yes.
all like Caitlyn Jenner, and that's a whole different
Yes.
conversation.
Exactly. And so it's just, so when it comes to, and I said this, like, and in my personal opinion, when it comes to, I think a lot of book talk, though, honestly, is done with her, because there's been other shit, but I think this is kind of like that people have been done with her for a while. But just, I am tired of her running her mouth. Like, you know what? Okay, you wrote these characters and now you have a platform. So now you're going to use it for terrible things. Well, congratulations. You're the same as fucking Orange, Oompa Loompa boy over there, and you're just as bad. So, like, when history, and by the way, history will remember this shit. And I think when it comes to the history books, your ass is not going to like the footnote they put in about you.
That's
You
true,
are not going to like it.
I know we're being public, and I know in the history books, when we make our podcast big time, we know what side of history we're going to be on. We're going to be on the right side of history to support people and try to end a lot of discrimination. But where will she be? You got to think about, where will you be? Is it really worth harassing an entire community who isn't trying to hurt somebody? They're not coming into your homes trying to grab your kids and force them to get gender reassignment surgery. This isn't like an elective class where, oh, this week, kids, we're going to go to the surgeon and change your gender. Society does not do this. If anything, this is being hyped up to the 100th degree, and it's for absolutely no reason.
Exactly. So anyways, I mean, I don't think there's anything else others to say than, like, she's being transphobic as fuck. And for anybody, I would say to the LGBTQIA community, who I have supported all my life and will always support, I want you to look at the next time she puts out a Fantastic Beasts book, the next time she tries to get your money, look at this person who is trying to divide up your community, who is trying to use you for money and a paycheck, but then has no empathy for people. She does not give a fuck. She's out there clearly for the buck, but she has so much hatred in her when it comes to this shit. So don't give her your money. Fuck her. Like, use the money to buy a different book. There are so many queer authors, out there who are trying to make a living, get their books. We see them all the time on Book Talk. There's queer authors, there's gay authors, lesbian authors, trans authors. There's so many people who are trying to write books who are in this community. Go support them. Go on Book Talk. Look up, I've looked this up before. Look up LGBTQIA authors. Look up queer authors. Look up trans authors. Look up gay authors. Look up lesbian authors. Look up these authors. You will find tons of them. Give them your money. Don't give it to her, because she's just using you. She is just using you for your money and then taking it and using it to turn right back around and spread hate. So anyway, we need something happy, Crystal. What is the happy topic we can end this on? Because she does not make me happy. I'll say that right now.
I'm trying to think.
Just trying to write, but happy. I mean, I could bring up chocolate, but I might just be sad.
We got some stuff going on with your chocolate delivery. I don't even want to get into that.
Oh no. Don't tell me, Crystal. Don't tell me my chocolate's not coming.
Your chocolate has been shipped to a maybe.
No. But chocolate. Where art thou, chocolate?
My friend is in Nigeria, who's living in Nigeria right now. Said she's going to swing by Ghana on the way US. I asked her to get some chocolate, and she said she will if she continues her plans to go to Ghana. She's not sure. That's why I said chocolate is in the maybe, because my cousin had to reschedule his trip. So we don't know anymore.
Dear friend who's going to Ghana, please go to Ghana. Please get me chocolate. Don't let the haters win.
Well, she's in Nigeria right now. It's like 2 countries down.
See, I'm just saying, you just swing by a store, grab some chocolate, pick it up. No biggie.
Yeah, it just would be nice if intercountry travel between African nations was easier.
Oh my goodness, right? All right. That's not okay. We gotta end on a happy topic. Crystal, what is our happy point of the day? Books are good. I like books.
Yeah, well, we already know books are good. I think I did have something earlier and I don't remember.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well let's just end on books are good. Buy more books. Go ahead, go on TikTok, go on Instagram. We have our names in the description below. Please follow us. Feel free to buy our books. We have lots of different topics between the two of us. Why don't we
Yep.
talk about what we're working on for a few minutes? What are you working on, Crystal? What's your next book up?
Well, remember that whole book series I'm working on that you campaigned for called the Christmas Mafia series?
I did. Yes, I did.
Right now, I am working on the second entry in that book, which is coming this December, True Love for Christmas.
Nice. I like it. Yay. Jingling my
Yep,
happy bead.
Yep.
Well, I'm working on I've been working on this dragon book. It's going to be a chunky book. It's going to be like 100,000 words.
That's
So
why
really,
I just write it because I want to read it.
I know you fantasy author, like you fantasy readers. I'm writing it for you and really myself. I mean, hot dragon shifters. So I've changed the title. I've changed some other, but I haven't changed the plot is the same. It has some dragon DNA. We got some cool shit going. I have some fun shit going on in it. So it's called The Orphan and I know it's called The Orphan and the Dragon, and it'll be out. I hope in like 2 or 3 months. I was hoping by May I would have it out, but nope. So I'm gonna say July. I'm looking at July to have it edited in June, have it out by July. August is the latest because then I have to write the Muse book and the Zodiac book at the same time.
Oh yeah, we should talk about the Zodiac book real quick.
Oh my goodness. I mean, well, I don't want to spoil, but well, anyways, me and Crystal are both working on a Zodiac series. It's a multi-author series. There's 12 of us. We are each writing a book in a different Zodiac kingdom. So I'm in Aquarius. Crystal, you are in Libra, so we're both air signs. And we are doing our books. And so basically each kingdom has had a horrible tragedy befall it where all the monarchs drop dead. And so because of that, their heir apparents have a lot of bullshit to deal with. And we have had some fascinating discussions. This shit's really funny. It's going to be an awesome series, but it's also going to be kind of hilarious when you see it combined. So basically, readers, we're going to bring you 12 books of awesomeness. That's what we're doing.
Especially since me as king is going to have a problem with mine. And we're not going to tell you why.
No, I don't have a problem. I'm just saying after the fact. I'm just saying we might have to have a short novella afterwards because Crystal's king is a little sus. So anyways, I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything. No spoilers. Anyways, you guys, thank you for tuning in to As the Pages Turn. This is episode 5, part 2. And if you look below, we have all our socials down there. Please like, please subscribe, please comment, and please come back for more because we're here. We're going to be here every week talking, lots and lots of talking. We're
going to talk lots and lots of stuff.
So much talking. So anyways, you guys, we love and appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.